Hi church family. Stephen's asked if we can share some thoughts with you, and I just wanted to share a little bit about my thinking over the last couple of weeks. So I suppose for me, a big question is, how can you see God in all of this? I'm from a non-Christian background. I've got lots of family and friends that don't know Jesus, and the question is going to be asked, how can you glorify God in all that's going on with these tens of thousands of people that are dying? And so the first thing I want to say is that it's okay to have doubts. It's okay. But it's about what we do with them. So a few weeks ago, we were teaching via Zoom with our young people, and we were looking at mental health and well-being. And one of the things we asked the young people is, how can we reframe our thinking? So, for example, if we have a negative thought, how do we reframe our mind and turn that into a positive? So if you take the coronavirus, obviously there's a lot of negative about that with all that's going on, but the positive things are that we get to stay at home. Life has slowed down massively for a lot of people. For some of our young people, they might be delighted that they don't have to take exams. Maybe that's not the case for all of them. For me, my garden looks tidy. That is a massive positive. And my skirting boards are clean, which is brilliant because cleaning is my happy place. And another thing as well is that communities are pulling together. So there's lots of Facebook groups where people are going and collecting medicines for people and food shopping and just running errands for them to make sure that those in the community that are vulnerable are kept safe and are kept well. So in light of this, one of the questions that was given to us by one of our young people is, but what about those children that are at home with abusive parents? And there are the news reports as well, aren't there, where domestic abuse rates are going up. And of course, we see the data charts on our news channels, and it's not for happy viewing. I saw a really heartbreaking testimony from a member of the NHS on the news yesterday, I think it was, and she was talking about the fact that they don't let these people that are suffering with coronavirus die on their own. And I'm just really aware of the trauma that a lot of people are going through in their grieving, in helping community, and it's never end. It seems never ending, doesn't it? So I think it's okay to say, actually, God, where are you in all of this? And for those of you that have helped with our young people doing tricky questions evenings before, you know that they have a lot of tricky questions, and this is going to be one of the ones that we need to talk about, and we don't always have to have the answers. That's okay. But I was reminded, I've been doing a lot of worship with my children at home, and I've just been reminded of Joshua when he went into battle with Jericho, and it wasn't his strength that won the battle, it was praising God. And one of the worship songs that we've been listening to as a family is Waymaker. I think it's by Bethel, and the bridge, I suppose, or chorus that's in there says the words, even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. And that just is so true, isn't it, at the moment? We can't sometimes see where God is in all of this crisis going on, but actually we know that God is working. A few days ago, one of the other benefits of being at home with the children is that I've been able to, I think this is a benefit, teach them to skate on these. And they put them onto their shoes so they can walk. And Esther was amazing. She just flies straight down, the wind in her hair, and she's just absolutely loving it. She just has no fear at all, and she just goes for it. Noma, on the other hand, was kind of, walking along really carefully and gently beside me, holding my hand the entire time. And every time she slipped, my hand would grab her, and I would hold her up and make sure she didn't fall. And I thought, actually, this is just reminding me of how we need to be in our relationship with God at the moment. We're just remembering that God is there holding our hands. And for some of us, with the crisis that's going on, we may be flying through it with ease, we may be, not affected in a massive way. For some of us, we are really, really struggling being at home, and I know there's some in our church family that are shielding and they're not allowed out of the house at all, and that must be incredibly difficult. And we might be both as well. We might be having some really good days, and we might be having some really bad days, but just remember that God is holding onto your hand. And for those moments when you fall, for those moments when you say, God, I can't see you in this, and just I don't know where to go with all of what's going on, just remember that he's holding on to you. And I just want to read to you from Psalm 130 verse 5, and this is particularly how I'm feeling at the moment, because I am looking and saying, how do I say to my non-Christian family where God is in this situation? Psalm 130 verse 5 says, I wait for the Lord, my soul waits, and in his word I put my hope. And then in Psalm 28 verse 7, it just reminds us that the Lord is our strength and our shield. It says, the Lord is my strength and my shield, my heart trusts in him, and I am helped. And that does help us. We've just been reflecting upon Easter in the last couple of weeks, and as part of my college unit that I'm doing, we're looking at topics of Christian doctrine, and one of my studies was on penal substitution, so looking at why Jesus had to die on the cross, and it is really, really hard to get our heads around. And we know that the cross works, we don't know how it works. Some people are in agreement with penal substitution, some people aren't, but we know through all of it that we don't have to know everything. We don't have to understand fully what's going on. We just have to put our hope and our trust in God and cry out to him and know that he is holding our hand. So I leave you with that today, and I can't wait to see you all again. We are really missing everybody, and we give you all huge hugs and blessings.